Welcome to the Robert Hunt Financial Market Update. It's your host, Robert Hunt, where I look at the week's financial news that can be a little bit confusing, misleading, and take, of course, help to make it actionable, understandable, and clear. What a week, and therefore what a show. As always, 3 very important data points to give to you, the listener. We're going to be looking at an article about the markets wobbling. Wall Street Journal is talking about a little bit of a wobble. We'll see what we think about it. And then we have some quick money stories where it's very important you take captive your thoughts. One on the X.com platform, another one in the Wall Street Journal. Governor Rick Perry. Quite a deal they have put together. And then, backed by popular demand, yes, the producers have gotten your letters. Rest assured, we read every letter that comes into the podcast. We're going to be bringing back Deals of the Week. Deals of the Week. You're not going to want to miss that. You're going to want the children, the grandchildren. Hang on till the end of the show. At the top, Wall Street Journal, Mr. James McIntosh. November 5th. Headline, the market just wobbled. Will it fall down? Subheadline, for many of the most speculative assets, the sell-off started last month, but until Tuesday, it hadn't drawn in the country's biggest companies. Ooh, sounds like contagion. Sounds like COVID-19. You can just kind of catch it, just being near somebody. What happened this week? If you were watching closely, you noticed some things dropped in price. So, Palantir, the great AI intelligence firm, dropped 8%. You may have seen Mr. Michael Burry come out with a big short position in Palantir and NVIDIA. Ooh, that scared people. Michael Burry, the famed big short, he's saying that these AI companies, he's not saying it, he's showing us with his actions by betting the price of these companies will go down, that they're overpriced. Tesla, this article explains, fell the most among the Mag 7, the Mag 7 being those big tech stocks. And then it gives a list of these smaller stocks that were hammered. I had not heard of some of these. SoundHound AI plunged 12%. That's a lot for a day, listener. BigBear.ai, 9%. Again, never heard of that. C3.ai and Symbotic, both 8%. Plug Power, not an AI company, dropped 8%. Robinhood Markets and Coinbase dropped 7%. This Mr. McIntosh has a theory. He is accusing something called speculation. He says, for anyone who hasn't been paying attention, the answer could be summed up in one word: speculation. He's talking about Tuesday of this week's sell-off. He says it's speculation. What is speculation, listener? A little definitional work. I've got my definition. You might have yours. It's important to differentiate it between investment. Speculation is the belief, the hope that if you buy something at X, it goes up in price to 2X. There's no real intrinsic value work done. You are simply betting that the price goes up so you can sell it to someone else. And if everyone's doing that together, you get what's called a speculative frenzy or speculative mania. The late 90s bidding up tech stocks. In hindsight, those internet net stocks, they were being speculated on. People were not buying shares of those companies. By the way, I was one of them. I speculated in internet stocks in the late 90s. I was not buying Internet America because I thought, I can't wait to hold this for the next 100 years. I was buying it because I thought, this is great. Everybody else is buying it, and it's going up 10% in a day. This is great. I'll buy it, and I'll sell it later. Sadly, I lost all my money. It was $500 or so. I forget the exact number. But my mother, thank you, Mother, cut out the article of when I purchased it. And I remember the article said, chat room, remember these chat rooms are a big deal. Chat room communications cause Internet America to go up 10% in a day. So this is back when it's not a different dynamic, but Internet America, the company I bought, that's now worth zero, It was kind of like America Online. I know some of my listeners now don't know what that was either, but these internet companies, you would get on the internet. It was a big deal back then. But these chat rooms would say, "Oh, great, internet America is going up," and it'd go up a lot. And my mother cut out an article and put it in a little book. I don't know where it is, but it's a great lesson because it's without knowing it. I think she created a great lesson for me. Speculation. That was speculation. I was speculating. I didn't care about the intrinsic value of the business. This article goes on to accuse many folks of speculation. Don't feel the ire too much. What this article postulates is that lower priced stocks, penny stocks, are prone to more speculation than Berkshire Hathaway, which, of course, the A shares are over $700,000, and they rose. So this gentleman is saying, yeah, these traders, they like to play around in the lower price stocks and move them around. Could be something to it. Could be. They also call out Bitcoin. Don't need letters, Bitcoin bros, I know. But Bitcoin suffered as part of this speculative mania to the downside and went under $100,000, down 20%. 20%. So I stay away from speculating because I already lost my $500 and in America. And it was not very fun. What you realize, and this is the test Warren Buffett gives, this was an aha moment for me. I hope it is for you. He said, whatever you buy so that if they close the market for the next decade, will not bother you. I'll say that again. Whatever you buy, whatever asset you buy, whatever stock, whatever meme, coin thing you buy it and do so with the confidence that if they close the market for the next decade, you don't care. You don't mind. You're fine. What does that do for you? Really clarifies your thinking. Really sobers you up, doesn't it? Because 10 years, I better do my homework. I better believe there's some intrinsic value, or I better hope that it throws off some cash or some dividend. Because I can hold something that pays me the cash, right? Admittedly, Berkshire Hathaway A shares don't pay any dividend, but you got a pretty good feeling you're going to be okay there. Of course, you saw this coming. The almighty index fund. What a great thing to own. If the market closes, you're going to be just fine. You're diversified. You're in good shape. You're keeping your costs low. You know how that is. You got to keep the costs low. So stay away from speculation. Stay away from the speculation. We're then going to talk about quick money. This is how, sometimes the news cycle is not our friend when it threatens the orthodoxy of our investment theory, which is keeping the cost low, investing simple, time horizon long. What happens when someone doesn't do that and has tremendous success? I've got two such cases for you. Mr. Kevin Zhu on the X.com platform. Now, you would think he's lying. He's not. He's not. I went back and he says, here are all my receipts, he says. It was kind of trash talk on the online. Here are the receipts. He traded $35,000 into $10 million in 21 months. Now, maybe he's fraudulent, but I don't know. It looked real. Okay, I'll say it again. 35K, he started with 35K. He went to 10 million in 21 months. No options, no crypto, no margin, just stocks. And it showed the stocks. It shows what he owns now. I believe it else. He owns index funds now. So I guess he took all his big risk and then just put it in index funds in cash. These stories are sometimes not helpful. And you have to have a little bit of statistical knowledge to have a category for these sorts of stories. Otherwise, the Kevin Zhu's of the world will drive you absolutely mad. One, drives us fear and greed sometimes, unfortunately. And if greed, we don't like that. There's great gain in godliness with contentment. Beware of the greed. If we see Mr. Kevin Zhu and he shows us his 35K to 10 million in 21 months, you might just want to get off your choo-choo train and get on his speed train. Because you might think, oh dear, what a Luddite I am. I'm on this coal locomotive. He's on a speed train. Not so fast, my friend. As Coach Corso once said, not so fast, my friend. Statistics. I want you to visualize, listener, a histogram. Now, what is a histogram? I don't know when they start teaching statistics, but You basically just want to draw a hill that looks the same on both sides. What I want you to understand is there's a distribution of returns that will occur with all traders across that. An analogy I like to use is the roulette wheel and the casino. Let's say 100 people go to roulette wheel and they're all gambling black and red and black and red and black and red. Did you know if they do 10 spins, it's likely, not a sure thing, but it's likely, it's possible, perhaps likely is not the right word, it's possible that one of the 100 will have a perfect score. Will have guessed black and red correctly each time. Now, maybe that's more true if I had 1,000-person sample size, but you get my point. There will be, on these tails of that little hill I described, a histogram, you're going to find someone that picked the roulette wheel perfectly. Now, what if that person then comes to you and says, I'm Mr. Roulette Wheel Picker. I know how to pick it. What will you say? Good sir, that's a game of chance. I will not buy your newsletter or pay you to manage my money. Well, the same thing happens in stock trading, listener. The Kevin Zhus of the world, maybe it's talent, maybe. I have my suspicions. I think there's a lot of luck involved. What if he's just at the tail end of the histogram? He could be at the tail end of that histogram allowing these results. So don't think twice about it. What you want to do is be at the tail end of the histogram over a 50-year period. And I know how to do it. Cost low, investing simple, time horizon long. And we have the data for it. The SPIVA report, SPIVA. SPIVA report shows, you know what? You'll be in the top 5% of investors if you just do index funds. But you got to do it for a couple decades. That's where I lose a lot of people. A lot of people say, nah, I'm going to do what Kevin Zhu tells me. Or, this one's a little different, but Rick Perry, Wall Street Journal article, nuclear ambitions begin with gas power, it says, but it's Jennifer Hiller, November 4th. The real story here is there's a $17 billion publicly traded company that is truly, from my perspective, an idea on a piece of paper. Maybe they got the land tied up in Amarillo and the electricity they're going to try to bring. But what happened is Governor Perry, he's got shares worth about $500 million. His son's got shares worth about $2 billion, and is an idea. Now, they, to their credit, they kind of tapped into a lot of what the market is saying we need, which is data centers and power. And they have a site. They think they can deliver that. No revenue. No real true customers. They have potential customers. You can't have a customer yet. They have nothing built. Sometimes you look at something like this and say, oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? Governor Perry made $500 million on a, and I suspect there's a lockup, so maybe not. We'll see. But just with a PowerPoint deck and a piece of land in Amarillo. A little more than that, but don't let those stories move you into a speculative mania. It can be tempting. Oh, I don't want to trudge through the snow. I want to do what Governor Perry did, which truly, so do I. He's offering a service to a customer that's desperate for what he's offering, power and data centers. But it's that quick money that can really mess with our minds. So don't let it infect you. Have a category. Take captive those thoughts, listener. It's quite all right to earn your 8, 9, 10% a year. Quite all right. Quite all right. And then in Robert's Corner, deals of the week. Guys, boy, the segment's back. The producers, again, all the fan mail. Bushels of it. First deal of the week. 2025 Nissan Sentra S. This is a new car, by the way. Louisville Nissan. This is a sedan, brand new. Incredible reliability. All the features you could ever dream of. $16,666. I'll say it again. $16,666. Guys, the affordable car crisis, it could just be the customer wanting more. So it's out there, guys. Affordable cars are out there, brand new. And I've done the research for you. Every feature you can imagine. Every feature. Every car is a luxury car. Every car. And then on the money side, this is, again, unsponsored. This podcast is unsponsored. Maybe we'll do what Sesame Street does. This podcast brought to you by the letter B. Thank you, letter B. This bank, Frost Bank, this is just a confession. I was looking for, on behalf of someone else, hey, what's the best refinance rates you can find? Okay, so I'd coordinate with the broker, and then you coordinate with banks direct. I did 4 or 5 banks, and I kind of round up 6-ish, and then, I heard rumor mill that there's an employee discount at a certain bank, maybe got you 5.9. But it was around there, 5.96. I then have someone call me, say, hey, I'm about to do this refi, maybe it's around 5.35, 5.2. What? 5.25 on a 30-year fixed. Wow. Frost Bank 5.25 on a 30-year. The lesson, listener, to me and for all of us is, one, information's not perfect. I then went online and I couldn't find it advertised, but when I called Frost, they confirmed it. It's a real deal. The phone bank down in San Antonio is doing these deals. You just go to, and they're keeping the mortgages on the books, which maybe is their secret sauce, but I kind of tried to find a good deal, and someone else found it for me. So it's part of the benefit of that RHF network. I work with lots of folks. So I learn from the client, believe it or else, just about every time. I learn a lot from the client. And in this instance, I learned some very helpful information. Frost Bank is doing deals. So if you're looking to refi, boy, howdy. My experience was they got the best pricing right now. So it can be frustrating whenever you're buying a car, whenever you're getting a refi of your mortgage, whenever you're getting a cell phone plan. My US Mobile crew knows who they are. We're rolling at $16 a month. Unlimited talk, text, and data on any network you want. That's my US Mobile crew. You had to prepay for a year, but all these sorts of deals, information is not perfect. It takes a little effort. And in the same vein, as you know, the index fund is not being pushed on you. When's the last time you turned on the television and saw, hey, buy this ticker symbol, VTI, 0.03% expense ratio. Now, you might see a Vanguard advertisement for their personal advisory services, which, oh, by the way, is 13 times the price of that ticker I just gave you. Higher margin products seem to find our way to us via advertisement. So sometimes we got to do our own work. You could just listen to this podcast, admittedly, just save yourself the trouble. But the lesson for me is be willing to make one more call. Don't assume, I assumed incorrectly, that Frost really wasn't in the mortgage game. They just wasn't incorrect. They certainly are in a big way. So let's control what we can. No surprise to you, that's keeping the cost low, investing simple, and time horizon long, because that is what's going to give us the best shot on our investing journey. Until next week.